Hi, it's a brand new wave spell today and a very exciting one at an exciting time. So it's Sunday, the 11th of October 2020, and it's 11:45 in the UK. It's moon in waxing Leo, so I'm just going to read that for you. Sun in Libra, of course, and at the moment, we're in waning moon energy. So we've got new moon in Libra coming up on Friday. And so it's an exciting time of seeing what we are looking to let go of before we initiate this new moon energy. And I know looking at the astrology over the next month, it's very key for how it fits into co-creation with my chart. And this is a really important aspect of astrology and cosmology. So using these frameworks to really see where you are as to how to work with the starry skies and your cosmic evolution. So I'm just going to read you the degree, which is Leo at 5 degrees. So number 5 is the overtone in the Mayan. It's mastery. And here we go. A seemingly young man, but with grey hair. When different sides of the soul have developed to drastically different points, you become a strange mix, a hybrid brew. Simultaneously ancient with wisdom and vibrant with youth at best, or perhaps at once aging rapidly and still unformed. These facets that are older and wiser have developed a greater mode of perception over long cycles of time. Those facets that remain young and unformed have not kept up with the greater awareness in the personal expression and embodiment. Therefore, your knowingness is advanced, yet your performance is as a novice. The hardest part is to accept and embrace yourself as you are, and to forgive and transmute what sometimes seems like a lack of courage and individual strength under fire. The only way this combination can become integrated is if the advanced witness acknowledges the unconditional value and intentions of the fledgling personal one, who will flourish and start to catch up if loved and fostered. Your own inner self is the central benefactor, the one who can say yes and bring life forth abundantly. So that's from a website called aquaorfire.net, and it's an inside degrees channeled reading. So that's what this time is all about. Sums it up perfectly. That's why I absolutely love reading these moon degrees. Nothing is random. That's what I offer you. We're in a divine matrix. We're in a co-creation code. And so to really get to know that is exciting, is empowering, and is what our soul mission is at this time on planet Earth, because it is a very challenging time, but everything that we need is here to enable us to transmute and marry up our personality and our higher self, which is also known as the part of fortune or fortuna in the chart. Another really key area to look at. So we come in with a personality, our sun sign. We come in with a rising sign, our higher self, the consciousness that we're coming to embody. And when those two match up, then in Britain we say we're singing from the same hymn sheet. Okay, so that means we're integrated, our personality and our soul, and we can co-create with the universe in a whole different way. That does take a lot of work intellectually, so getting to know this stuff as and when you feel ready to, at the perfect time for you, and also most importantly to fully integrate the human being experience is to heal the heart, what the warrior of the heart is all about, yellow warrior, to heal the human being story, and therefore to embody spirit more. Sounds simple, it's tough a lot of the time because our conditioned mindset is something that's, generally speaking, especially in the West, hugely out of alignment with truth, which of course we are now seeing in a massive holographic game plan right now. The truth is coming to light. Okay, so in terms of where we are with the wave spell, we are beginning Yellow Magnetic Warrior, which is, let me just take my screen off there. Okay, so here we are down here. And again, I'm going to say to you that if you're not doing this process with one of these in the blue tack, doing it with blue tack will take you to a whole different level. And today's a really good day to set an intention to do that. I have a calendar just like this one. It's on Flow with Joe under resources. It's called the Mayan Synchronizer. And you can download this and you can print it off and you can laminate it and stick it together. And just making this was an amazing breakthrough process for me, actually doing it. Remember, this is all about experiential learning and embodiment. So the more that we do this stuff, the more that we actually become it. It's remembering who we are. We are not a mind construct, although huge conditioning on the planet makes us believe that we are. Okay, so there we are. And we're, as you can see, we're in the yellow bit. And again, apologies to my viewers. I don't know what level you're at of your journey with the Zolkin, but I just try and cover all people and levels of where people are on their journey. So forgive me if I'm telling you anything that you already know. And so yellow, what is Yellow Castle all about? Well, as you can see, we've gone through red, white, blue to get to the yellow. So we've gone through awakening, refinement, transforming, and now we're in the manifestation, the flowering. We're seeing what's manifest. When we started, of course, our whole life journey, our whole soul evolution, if you want to go for the bigger picture, but in terms of where we are in this spiral, this 260-day spiral, we began this on the 30th of March, which in the UK was approximately 1 week into the lockdown. And wow, you know, spring equinox, Aries, the opposite of where we are now, just gone into the autumn equinox in Libra. We've had the full moon in Aries. And so now we are seeing where we are manifest down here. So we are the Yellow Warrior. And that is the human being who is the warrior of the heart, who has the courage to look at their own personal story and heal it. That's the key. Yellow Warrior's planet is Saturn, which is twinned with the previous wave swell that we've just gone through, which is Blue Night. So we've just completed a 13-day process of Blue Night, the conscious dreamer. So you've got everything that you need to look at what you've actually manifest, where you are in your life, how is it feeling? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling accepting of this process that's going on planet Earth? How is it working for you? What is it showing you, most importantly, that isn't working? And then going deeper with that, why isn't it working? Usually this is an old repeating pattern. If you've been around the clock a few times like me, then you'll become very aware of it. And the more aware of it that you become, the more you'll start to see and align with the synchronicities. So it's remembering that this 260-day process is part of a series of calendars. and it's about a whole different numerological, is that the right word? Anyway, to do with numbers framework, which is basically the Gregorian calendar, which we use in the West and most of the planet, is based on the number 12, and so divisions of 12. So we have, 60 minutes in an hour, we have 12 months, we have 7 days in a week, and that framework of 12 is key to understanding, because in the Mayan, that's the crystal framework, number 12. Number 12 day is crystal. So we want to get clear in that process, crystal clear, of how this framework has been used to keep us on a labyrinth. It does not allow us to shift into a different state of awareness. It doesn't allow us to shift into being in alignment with natural cycles. So the Mayan calendars, the wave spells, the indigenous peoples' frameworks come from a place of truth and alignment with all sentient beings. They come in alignment with how the planet works, they're healthy, they're ancient wisdom. And many people in the West simply can't access that system, but it's in there. So using the calendar actually synchronizes you. And again, don't worry if you forget how to use it or you fall out of sync with it for a while. This is new learning. I've been doing it now for 9 years, and I'll be coming into my 10th year on the 2nd of November 2020, and I'll be doing a free webinar. I hope that people will come and join me and take part. I'll do a separate video about that. This is going to be a really magical, dynamic time for me, going through a gateway and seeing what's manifest in my mirror. So having the courage to play the game is the key. That can be very challenging if you have people who are dependent on you, such as children, elderly people, people who need additional care because they have special needs. So again, it's key to understand ourselves on this and what influences us, and trust the process, trust that everything is happening at this time for a reason, to break through the old paradigm, to reveal truth that is very uncomfortable, and to take us into a different space on planet Earth. My belief is each person has their own part to play, their own process, which is revealed with their astrology and with their Mayan code, and that once that person starts to really work with that awareness, they realize that it isn't about outside of us. It isn't about what we're doing outside. The focus is on the inside and on healing, because that way we really start to change our personal story. I had a magical connection with a couple of people who I hadn't even spotted the comments on YouTube, and this is what I absolutely love, is how people show up at the perfect time for you to show you something that you need to pay attention to that you've missed. So they were both red galactic moons, and hi to you both if you're watching this. Thank you for connecting to me. I made the video Red Galactic Moon, and you can see it on my website, Flow with Jo 1 on YouTube, and lots of videos on there. But that one in particular was really key because it was just before all of this happened. It was on the 26th of February, and so little did I know back then what was happening, what was coming next. It was recorded on Red Galactic Moon Day, and I'd noticed some key patterning around how the 13 moons were matching up with the wave spell. Nobody's come back to me on that yet, but if anybody's out there watching this that knows about this and knows why it happens, please do get back to me, because I think this is really, really significant and important. So we'll be coming up to repeating Red Galactic Moon again, and that will be coming up in 2 more wave spells. So we've got this wave spell to run, and then we go into the Green Castle, which is initiated by Red Moon, and then we have White Wind. So on day 8 of White Wind being a very significant wave spell for me, and I'm in a White Wind year, white crystal actually. So again, it's just seeing the magic of how people show up at the perfect time to get our attention on things, and how quickly 9 months comes around. This is a gestation process, and each time we revisit it consciously, then we get more information. So in order for you personally to start to know your Saturnian codes, we have a Saturn return at the age of 30 approximately. So what we do up until the age of 30 is we start to form our code, and we often, I believe, we think that this is random, and my understanding is it's anything but random. Okay, so we come in with a code, we come in with the next generational evolution pattern for our family. So once you really start to get into this, and maybe you've already done a family tree, for example, I've done that with my mum, as in she's done the tree, and I've sat down with her and started to work out code, and it's just been mind-blowing. And I can absolutely see how I'm repeating key patterns. I can map it in terms of astrology, I can map it in terms of the Mayan, and it blows me away. Now, one of the key things about this is at first the ego, when you haven't done any healing, really resists this like mad, because we like to believe we have free will, which we do to a certain extent. We like to believe that we can do whatever we want whenever we want it. And what we're seeing right now is we cannot do that, and then how that makes us feel. So it's remembering that at this time, and what this wave spell is all about, Zol Kin, is about putting things in the right order and getting clear of the wounding pattern that we unconsciously repeat, and being ready to become humble and see the grace of it all as well. See the incredible grace of when we really come into acceptance of our life and what's happened and make peace with it. That doesn't mean that we're suddenly doing a reframe of bad behavior or abuse. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It means we can't change what's happened. So it's coming into acceptance of it, learning from it, and evolving from it so that we don't do it anymore. And again, once we start looking at your ancestral patterning, you will see how each generation has done that in their own way or not. They may have devolved, but that in itself brings huge learning. So everybody is a teacher and a student in this life, and whatever place, path, there is no hierarchy on this. There are people that are more evolved, more conscious than other people, let's say, and behave in a more respectful and loving way, who are maybe more intelligent than other people, who learn more, who are open to new learning and are not limited by it, who are open to unlearning as well, realizing that just because they thought something was a certain way doesn't mean it always has to be, so that they don't get stuck in a limited mindset, which is very Saturnian, which means often that we become these huge boulders, you know, and we become embedded in the landscape, which I believe some very, very enlightened, can't get my words out today, enlightened souls are literally embedded in key sacred sites. So ancient seers, in particular around the Hopi Indians and that area of the world, the Mayan people, they have become parts of key sites. And I know in other religions, other belief systems, I believe they are there and embodied. So they're still on some level in their body as part of the landscape, as part of this amazing holograph mystery school. We're in a giant mystery school right now because it's time for people to really evolve. It's just the most amazing time. In terms of cards today, so the goddess cards, I have got Ishtar, which is all about renewal. So may I allow the joyful power of Ishtar to move through me so I may celebrate my place in the world with confidence and strength. So again, this is key to ancestral patterning and coding. Were you celebrated as a child? Were you encouraged to be unique? Were you encouraged to be a warrior of the heart? Who did that for you? Who encouraged you? Who was your guardian angel on the planet? Just remember that person. And again, this is a great framework that you can use to use your imagination to unlock your potential and call on them wherever they are now as a guide, as inspiration. It's a really fun way to co-create and remember amazing times in your life when you did feel supported, when you did feel you could do anything because of, generally it's because of somebody else's love and belief in us as a child. So I've also got the Mayan Oracle, which are amazing cards, new language, galactic language. So again, check those out, Mayan Oracle, Ariel Spilsbury. And so Akbal, again, part of the process of learning the Mayan calendar can be complex. Let's use the word complex because it's a different language. So Akbal is blue night, and it does take a while to learn. Like I say, I've been doing it for 10 years and there's still lots and lots for me to learn because I learn it experientially each day, intuitively, in a way that feels natural to me and feels intuitive. And I offer you that this again is what this wave spell is about. It's not about learning things by rote. It's not about going out, getting 10 books from the library and digesting it all and being able to speak all of the intellectual understanding of these calendars. My understanding is it's about often unlearning and what I call following the cosmic cookie trail, so that you wake up with an aha moment, for example, and think, oh, I need to read that book now. Or you'll be shown something on the internet, or you'll meet somebody, or somebody will comment on your YouTube channel and it'd be like, wow, okay. So this is the magic, isn't it? It's not some dry old library somewhere. It's about literally energy, magic, remembrance of who we really are. Thousands of years ago, we've had so many lifetimes, we've had so many learnings. We are such wise beings on a deeper level. So we know a lot of this stuff anyway, and we're just remembering it in a whole different way. So Akbal, blue night, is the third Mayan sign. Forgot to say that yellow warrior is the 16th Mayan sign. And so yellow warrior is a mastery sign. So number 1 to number 13 They are the key codes for the human being. And then we come into the last 7, which I call the 7 solar seals. And don't even know where I got that from or where I read it or inspired it. But these are the mastery codes that take us to the higher vibration. So Yellow Warrior is a way of working with Blue Knight, which is number 3, using Saturnian codes. So being the conscious dreamer. So the last 13 days, remember in your holograph, what you have seen is a reflection of a lot of unconscious creating, because we do not come into this life conscious on one level. We may have lots of conscious awareness as a child, but then we become conditioned and we forget and we lose a lot of things. We're also veiled so that we can come in and learn things experientially. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do that. So our higher self, our avatar, our spirit, however you relate to that part of yourself, becomes more evident within us as we heal our human being story. And so I know a lot of people, a lot of therapists, a lot of NLP people don't believe in the story, think that you don't have to do the story, and that's okay, that's their belief system. I've been trained in NLP as well, and that was a key time when I connected to the Carlos Castaneda framework. And my belief is we absolutely do need to know the story, and that if part of us doesn't want to face our story, all of it, then there's a reason for that, and that's usually about fear of not being able to handle it emotionally and what that will do to us. And so in order to be a fully initiated, integrated warrior of the heart, you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You have to turn everything on its head, and you have to be the fool on the one hand who is ready to see our own delusions and illusions, our own conditioned mindset that we have inherited in our DNA as parts of this journey, and also parts of our culture. And now that is all changing. So the more you know about your Saturnian pattern, about your family pattern, it's all about childhood. It's because that's when all the code was created, which is why for the future it's so important that we support families, that we support this consciously, empathetically, that we start to create structures in our society that fully support parents and children so that they can grow in a fully supported way where they experience the least trauma possible. That's my belief, that that's the framework that we need to be working towards. Because right now we're working with so much trauma, so much hurt, so many children running around in adult bodies who are really codependent on the system, and it's just very challenging and hard. Yeah, it's playing the game on hard right now. And I know this is how it has to be for now, to show us this, to show us the manifestation of, you know, what's happened on the planet because of all what's come before. And taking all the great stuff and expanding that. The key focus, though, is the shadow. That's what this time is about. It's about healing the harm to create harmony. So in terms of soft cards, here we go. So we've got the Two of Wands, which is Dominion. And yes, just look what's happened to us over this period of time, this 6 months in time. And we've got lots more to go, believe me, as we go Through Libra, we'll then be going into Scorpio, which is the key integration gateway of death and rebirth. And of course, we'll be working with a really thin veil over Halloween. We're going into Mercury retrograde this coming week in Virgo to begin with, I think, or I'll post a link for that. I'm not sure of the exact dynamic, but I know it includes Scorpio and Virgo at different times. So back to the card. So this ties in to Mars in Aries, which is a huge transit. Google that if you want to know more about that. Massive, massive transit that is in that transit for a very long period of time. I think it's there until January. But Google that. Just Google Mars in Aries to check out more information. Okay, so courage, fierceness, shamelessness. I'm just picking out the bits that are not shadow. Generous, sensitive, ambitious. So this is about willful currents of force being applied to a situation. And again, so that depends very much on the person who is co-creating with that force. If it's somebody who isn't very grown up, who is very childlike, then that won't be a wonderful thing to watch, will it? Because it'll involve temper tantrums, it'll be trying to force will onto somebody else, it'll be about revenge, you know, all of that very immature behaviour. Now, if it's somebody who is doing that in a healing and healing their shadow and understanding their patterns and understanding that everything comes round for another go until we get the learning, that's the whole point of this. You know, let's go round again and try this on for size. Now, if you've healed something, so you've gone back over a story and you've healed that and you've let go of it, then you come into this with a very different energy. There's a lot of people who do spiritual work and spiritual healing, but they're not healing their own story. So they may have a conscious awareness of something intellectually, but they don't actually live it on some level. And this is what we're here to do, is to live this learning, not just to know it on an intellectual level. So this is Mars is in its own sign of Aries, so it's very well placed, you know, it's a very strong energy. And if we let go of the results of something and we're just doing it because it's the right thing to do, you know, it's because it's authentic, because it's truth, as in we know it's right to treat other people respectfully, no matter what they do. We do not come down to their level. We do not become the behaviour that is abusing us. This is so, so key now. Otherwise, how do we reconcile that? Okay, so again, this is Eli Tarot Strikingly.com. Please check that out. I'll put the link on YouTube as well. And so very powerful motion. It will tell you a lot more about this energy. And so it's about affirming a new self-identity. It's about a partnership of two powers. So remember, when we get the shadow on the outside, it doesn't necessarily mean that we do this behavior ourselves. It can mean that in a past story of ours, in this lifetime, that we've experienced this challenging behavior before, this bullying, this narcissistic pattern. And so now it gives us a new opportunity to first of all heal this, and then come into a place of real self-confidence and assertiveness, so that we can stand up to the coercive bully and say, actually, no, we're not doing that. And that, you know, that's what needs to happen on the planet now. And I feel that it is happening on the planet. And when I say need, it's about if we don't go down if we don't do this place of truth and saying no, then we go down a very dark tunnel, which we have in humanity in the past, in the 1930s. So history doesn't change unless people change, and we keep repeating the same pattern. And this is what we see on the planet. We see these repeating patterns of one group overpowering another group for whatever reason that is. And usually the coercive bullying group believes that they have some sort of divine right to do this. And that is mentally ill, because nobody has a right to hurt other beings. Nobody has a right to create suffering for any beings on this planet, and not for the greater good, not for collateral damage. All of these old stories, they're just bullshit that people have told themselves in order to do something that's really, really bad. You know, all the empires that have ever been, all of the taking over of places and genocide, that's enough. That has to stop now. And it stops with each one of us saying, no, we will not go along with this dominion. So in this next 13 days, it's a great opportunity to analyze ourselves as each challenge comes up, and it will, because that's the time that it's about. There's no hiding from this stuff now. Just go inside and notice what's triggering you, first of all. Fear, what fear is coming up, and honor it, sit with it, be with it. It's an old story of oppression, of dominion. We've been here many, many times on planet Earth, and I truly believe that now is the time, the tipping point, the return to balance of the sacred feminine, where we will break through by clearing and healing our fear of being our true, amazing being self. If you'd like to know more about cosmic codes, about astrology, about how to heal your heart using emotional freedom technique, which is a really powerful process, and I've been using it for 13 years, I can highly recommend it. It really helps me at the moment to work with this inner transformation. And please do get in touch with me. I offer a free consultation, and my website is flowwithjo.com. If you're a 50+ woman and you're interested in knowing more about cycles and codes, then please do get in touch, because I'm working with groups of women at the moment around patterns and cycles, and I truly believe that we're here at this time to help support each other and work through this process. One more thing, in terms of where we are in the 13 moon calendar, we are in the Mary Magdalene Master Builder code today. So we're in red electric moon, the alchemy moon, and we're on day 22, which means we've got 6 more days left to alchemize what began on the Mayan New Year, which is the 26th of July. So the 13 moon calendar stays the same every year. It begins on the 26th of July. We have 28 days of magnetic moon, and then we go in on the 23rd of August, we go into red lunar moon. So whatever you were doing on those days, go back over it. Red magnetic moon is key for what was initiating for you on the 26th of July in Leo sometime. And lunar moon is the new challenges, the new awareness that began in Virgo time. So wherever you are on the planet, whatever you were doing at that time, key information for you to reflect on. And now it's time to alchemize and heal and really let what feels good from the heart, Leo energy, expand in a mature, egoic way, and release what didn't feel good, which was around conditioned mindset, perhaps being nitpicky, fearful, letting the mind chatter away, so that you can come into balance in Libra time and create harmony by healing the harm. Lots of love. I hope you have an amazing 13-day process of your warrior in your heart, creating the next wave of you. Bye for now.